Troll in the Dungeon!
And welcome to another episode of Troll in the Dungeon. I, of course, am Stephen Gosinski, the troll in said dungeon. Today we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban as we continue our retro reviews of the Harry Potter film franchise. Now we're into the third film, Prisoner of Azkaban, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, or however the heck you pronounce his last name, because I don't know how. Oh, you were like, if you're noticing that there's a different director, well, that's good on you. You've actually been paying attention. So, Chris Columbus was originally supposed to direct all 7 of these films. It later turned out to be 8 films, but anyway. He originally was supposed to direct all of them, but he decided he wanted to be able to spend time with his family. He was worried that he was going to miss his children growing up and such, and as any good dad would, he stepped away. He was involved as a producer, I believe, in the credits. He was helping in picking the next director of the franchise. He decided, and this is the last film that John Williams does full-time as composer. Now, he still does, several of his themes are still used throughout the franchise. Hedwig's theme, and there was another one, I can't remember what it's called. But there are a couple of Williams compositions that are still used throughout the franchise, but this is his last full-time one as composer. So we have all that going on. We bring back a whole ton of characters, and this is the first with Michael Gambon as Albus Dumbledore. I am not going to say his full name, because that would take too long. I may say it for the 5th review. We'll see. So Michael Gambon is taking on the role since Richard Harris unfortunately succumbed to Hodgkin's lymphoma actually a little bit before the second film premiered. So he's taking on, Michael Gambon is a very different actor than Richard Harris. That's okay. And I'm more of a fan of his interpretation of the character, I'm not gonna lie. But there's that. There were some people who have had issues with him. We'll address those a little down the road. We'll probably do a special video talking about different actors and their interpretations of the character. But we're not going to spend this whole video on that. Now, we have a lot of first introductions of new characters in this film, including Emma Thompson as Professor Trelawney, and of course the great Gary Oldman as Sirius Black. We get introduced to Peter Pettigrew, aka Wormtail. Timothy Spall was the actor's name. And of course we get David Thewlis as Remus Lupin, which I'm very excited for. I'm a huge David Thewlis fan. And a few others, but I can't remember what they are right off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember if we met the Minister of Magic in the second film or not. We didn't, so this will be the first episode. My camera person's telling me that we didn't. My Harry Potter correspondent was assisting me with these. So she said no, that we didn't meet the Minister in the last one. So he's actually in this one, so that's pretty rad. Funny, I could have sworn we saw him in the last one, but that's all right. Anyway, so with Alfonso Cuarón taking on the directorial duties, there were a lot of changes stylistically to the film. There was a lot more drab feeling. It was a bit darker, which was actually fine. And he allowed for the kids to dress more in their character. Actually allowed the young actors to kind of come into their own a little bit. It gets more pronounced as you go down the franchise, which is what you should do with child actors. You need to let them get comfortable in their own skin. And that was a smart call on his part. Unfortunately, he's also a stylistic director. He took some films that are a little bit more, let's just say he didn't focus as much on the narrative as he may have, as any other director may have. There's a lot of wasted screen time on this film. This is my biggest complaint about it. I actually timed it. There are some shots that take way too doggone long. They constantly have this weird transition thing of going to the Whomping Willow. I don't know why. It's close to 2.5 minutes of wasted time overall. I literally timed it, and that 2.5 minutes could have been used for a scene, or extending a scene just to make the narrative flow a little bit better. It was a little rough. But overall, actually, it wasn't a bad film. It's not the best, by far, but it's not a bad movie. And I was happy that we got to enjoy that. I hope you've enjoyed this review. There's some other stuff that I can go into. Continue liking, commenting, subscribe to the channel, so that way we can keep, making this content.